Welcome to Creamer Media's Mining Weekly. I'm Natasha Oedendaal. With me in studio is Ronnie Webber-Youngman, Head of the Mining Engineering Department at the University of Pretoria. He's here to discuss the university's progress on its new approach to mining engineering education. Welcome, Ronnie.
Thank you very much.
Now, your university, your engineering department, has been undergoing different approaches to education. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I think all engineering departments in the world, they put a lot of emphasis on the technical aspect. But I think one of the things that's really neglected in most cases is the non-technical approach, which in common language we refer to as the soft skills. And there was always a challenge: how can we introduce soft skills or the non-technical component into our actual academic program? And I think what we got right over the last 2 or 3 years was to incorporate the non-technical approach into the actual mining curriculum, and I think that was the success of it. It was not something extra, but something that was part and parcel of.
Rick, now how has this changed your department?
I think the important thing, what happened in the department, was that the minute we started introducing the non-technical skills, we found that our students bought into the idea of being cared for, and they bought into the idea of knowing more about themselves. We actually started with this being, knowing, and also then applying whatever you know. And I think since we started doing that, the students have approached us afterwards and saying that they never knew that there was so much for them in terms of having this technical skills, but then get this non-technical contribution as part of their curriculum, which other departments don't do.
Okay, so this is pretty much to help them learn more.
I think so. Like I've explained earlier, we found that there are several different soft skills or non-technical skills that you can introduce. Thinking preference, brain dominance was one. Shadow match was another one. We even looked at emotional intelligence as part of the package. We looked at a lot of new interventions, how we could incorporate all of that so that the student could have a base of applying this new knowledge about himself in use of other people around him. And I think in our approach to teaching and learning, and we've just won an innovative award, laureate award at the University of Pretoria for a very innovative approach to education. And part of the approach was cooperative learning. And cooperative learning is where you incorporate different mindsets, different people, different personalities into this one package, and you get people to sort of work together and get that going. And I think if they didn't know more about themselves through this process that we've identified, I think it would have made it very difficult to understand why we're doing this. But now it's really a success story, I think.
Now, what's the progress on it? What's your next step?
I think we've just basically touched it. When we first introduced this whole non-technical approach, it was for the final year students only, because it was in its baby shoe stage, and it was a dream, and we really thought maybe this is something that other people don't do that might make us very successful. And to cut a long story short, we started with the final year students because they were the next generation of mining engineers in terms of the graduation time. We've now made a decision that we're going to incorporate something like shadow match to all the students, because shadow match is all about aligning your habits with industry successful people's habits. And the minute you can measure a person's habits, and that's exactly what we started doing with our final year students, you can actually show them, correlating that with industry habits, what will make you successful. And we found a 90% correlation with our final year successful students with industry successful practitioners. And once we found that, we came to the idea that why do we keep this away from everybody else? And based on funds and stuff and the shortfall of funds, we made a decision now that we're going to introduce it for all the students. Because if they know in their first year that the habits they need to acquire to be successful as engineers, mining engineers specifically, then they can develop those habits, because those are the things that you can change. And I think that is the secret of all of this, is that we're going to incorporate that to all our students, and we know, that, and I'm convinced, that if they know that habits that make people successful in industry is this much, 5 habits or whatever, they can apply that in the academic program, be successful in the academic program, and then also be successful as individuals in future.
Perfect. That was Ronnie Webber-Youngman discussing a new approach to mining engineering education. Thank you, Ronnie.
A pleasure. Thank you very much.